gas.
Welcome to All Gas, All Georgia Sports. I'm glad you guys are here. And I'm glad that I'm here because it's late. It's late. It's 1 a.m. right now. I do have, I have a job. I have a family, people who count on me, people who need me to step up, be responsible. And is recording a podcast at 1 a.m. responsible? Well, you know what? I think it is because it's a big day for Braves country. And I just finished the Braves game. That's why I'm up late. And, it is what it is, you guys. I mean, look, I'll figure it out. I'm a man. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of what I need to take care of. I'm going to get up in the morning, go to work with a smile on my face because I got to witness the exact moment where the Braves took first place. Oh, boy. We're going to get into that, of course. We're going to talk about the Mets because have to talk about the Mets. We're going to talk about tweets and news from around the league, bringing back the tweet segment. No Tom Brady talk today. I'm going to say that, actually. I know that's circulating in the news, but, it really isn't news, in my opinion. I mean, there's, he took that 11-day absence to go take care of some things with his family, and since then, there's been more kind of rumors and speculation coming out about, is it him and Giselle, him and his wife, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. It's, I wish him well. What I do know is that he's going to come back and crush it this year, and it's not going to matter because he's going to play really well. So that's about as much Tom Brady talk as you're going to get out of me. Going to be a good show. Actually, I was thinking about this. I don't know when I wanted to plug this, but, as I'm up late watching the Braves, it always reminds me. So it runs in my family to stay up late and watch the Braves games. Because back in the day, this was back in like the mid-2000s, my grandfather, before he passed, he watched every Braves game, religiously, and he lived in Alpharetta, and he had stayed up late to watch a game on the West Coast. They were in San Francisco. The Braves were in San Francisco, and in San Francisco, they had a rain delay, so not only was he already staying up late to watch the game on the West Coast, but the rain delay made it so that he was up until like 4 a.m. watching the Braves, and he stayed up the whole time. I come by it honestly, and while he was watching the game, a bunch of tornadoes came through Alpharetta. And so he was watching the game, and he got the, get in your basement immediately alert on the TV. Tornado warning, tornadoes have been sighted, big deal, get safe, stop what you're doing, get out of there. And so he's like, oh, crap. So he goes up and he wakes up my grandmother, who was not happy to be woken up at 4 a.m, naturally. But he's like, hey, get up. This is serious. We got to go. Tornadoes are coming through. Like, let's go. And so he gets her up, and they go down to the basement. And literally moments after they get in the basement, my grandfather said that he heard sounds that he hadn't heard since the Korean War. It sounded like bombs going off because a tornado came right through their home and their yard and ripped down literally 150, maybe more pine trees, because pines just snap like twigs, right? And a huge pine tree fell literally on the bed where my grandmother was sleeping. And, they would both be dead. 100%. They are now, but they both would have been dead in that moment. 100%. When you saw the damage, all these trees that fell on their home, the entire upper level was destroyed. It was just an absolute nightmare. But they were in the basement. And, really, it's all thanks to, the rain delay out west and my grandfather being just an absolute diehard Braves fan. So go Braves! Because, you in that moment, you literally saved my grandfather's life in a way. So it's funny how the world works. We actually wrote some letters to the Braves organization after that. I don't know if we got anything back, but it was just kind of a cool story. You have such a diehard fan, watching this game out west in a rain delay. And, that's the exact reason that they were able to get to safety, is because he was awake when he saw that warning. So pretty cool story there. I always like thinking about that when I'm up watching the Braves late. And, it's for any, hey, Braves players, Braves country, my message to the team is, keep fighting out there. There are loyalists back here at home who are going to watch every single pitch because that's just what we do. So speaking of what we do, What we do on this podcast is to start off every episode, I give you guys a trivia question and I circle back around with the answer at the end of the episode. So, y'all's trivia question today is, what was the original name for the New York Jets? It's kind of obscure, a little out of the box. The New York Jets have not always been named the New York Jets. And before they were the Jets, what was their name? So, see if you know it. Think about it. I mean, some of y'all might Google it. I don't know before if you just can't wait until the end. But I will answer it afterwards, after the episode, and then you'll know, and then you can go and bring that fact to people and your friends, and you're going to sound really smart. So, to kick things off, we've got to talk about the Mets. Dude, they suck. Oh man, they just lost 3 in a row, and the Braves are now officially in first place. And it's so funny for me because, I mean, oh man, I've done a lot of episodes where I've just been said, okay, Mets, here it comes, the footsteps, that's you're sinking, you're gonna blow it, you always blow it. And sure enough, they're blowing it. I can't believe it. I can believe it, but it's like, okay, so we've posted a lot of these shorter videos on our TikTok, which has been blowing up, which has been awesome. And Mets fans are the most fun. 100%, they're the most fun. Had some Saints fans that have, given me a hard time. Some, SEC trash talk has been pretty good so far. I've posted some stuff after the Georgia game, but by far the best people to just get riled up are Mets fans. And, it's just, it's so easy, but I feel bad at this point. The Mets, they try so hard. God love them. They go out, they spend all this money in free agency. They bring in all these good players. They really, it's like, you can just tell they really are just swinging. They're up there swinging. And so are their players, although they're just not getting any hits, apparently, because they have now blown what was at one point a 10-game lead in the NL East. And I honestly don't know what part of this I'm enjoying more, the Mets blowing it or the Braves doing well. It is the Braves doing well, obviously that's where my loyalties lie, but it's just wonderful. It's fantastic. Mets fans, man, prayers up for you. God love you. It's too easy. It's too easy, and they get, from the last few videos we've posted, they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that the Braves had already taken first place. Oh, last I checked, you were still a game back. And yeah, it's true. And I was talking trash and I was being ridiculous and I was saying things and, it's what we do. But, oh man, this is poetic. So yeah, go Mets. Keep doing what you're doing. They've lost 3 in a row. They lost an ugly one to Pittsburgh, and we got that news. The final score like in the midst of the Braves game, and so it just made it a little more exciting to stay up late and commit to it. And the Braves, they had a rough go at it in Oakland. It was tough coming into this game. We were hot. Our pitching was fantastic coming into this game. In 4 games prior to this game against Oakland, we had given up 1 earned run in total by our starting pitchers. So, yeah, pitchers had locked it in. Kyle Wright came into this game leading all of the MLB in wins with 17, although he struggled big time. So he actually gets taken out in the 5th, and he had 8 earned runs tonight. Ouch. It was just one of those, like, kind of slugfests, really. Matt Olson goes, and he goes deep back in Oakland. That was pretty cool, seeing him back in California for the first time since he left that organization. And he goes deep, dead center. I want to say that was his either first or second at bat, but it was a beautiful hit. Roped it. Hard hit, dead center, over the center field wall. The center fielder just turned his head and watched it go. It was great. So Matt Olson continues to rake. Everybody on both teams really hit well. Surprisingly enough, I'm going to pull up some specific stats here in a sec, but let's just take a second to just bask in the glory of the Mets' demise. And, it's just, the story of the scorpion and the toad? Well, if you don't, I'm going to give you the short version. So a scorpion goes up to a toad, and they're trying to cross a river. And the scorpion says, hey, toad, can I catch a ride on your back? And the toad says, well, I'm a little worried you're going to sting me, buddy. I just don't think that I'm comfortable with this. And The Scorpion says, "Nah, no, 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 it's not going to happen. It's cool. I'm cool. I'm going to chill. It's fine." Toad goes, "You sure, Scorpion?" And the Scorpion goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we're cool. We're cool. We're cool. Totally chill." And then he hops on the Toad's back. They get across the river, and then the Scorpion stings him. And then Toad says, "Dude, what the hell?" And Scorpion says, "It's in my nature. It's what I do. It's written in my DNA. It is who I am." And Mets are the Scorpion of this story. It is what they do. They can't help themselves. It's nature at this point. You can't fight nature. I mean, what is this? This is nature versus nurture, and nature is winning. And the nature of the Mets is that they blow it just so hard, and I'm here for it. I love it. It's fantastic. Braves country, let's celebrate. And, and let's run away with this thing. I mean, this is the first time I guess technically we share the lead, although when I checked the official standings, they did put the Braves in first. Maybe it's because of our record against the Mets, but I didn't think that we were beating it. Anyways, yeah, we are technically tied, I believe, but they listed us first. So, it is what it is. So, yeah, it's in their nature. It's what they do. And Braves, let's not look back. It's the first time we've had this position in the division since game one of the entire season, I think. So yeah, what better time than September to take it? Oh man, I'm giddy. Okay, yeah, let's go. Because I'd much rather have the division than have to go do the wild card thing. I mean, really, that's so much better. Having the division, having that security, so much better than doing the whole wild card dance. I don't know if they've changed the format of that. I don't think it's the one game thing anymore, but I could be wrong. Honestly, I'm a little spacey at the moment because honestly, I'm a little tired. So let's get into some specific stats from today's game because there's just a lot of them. Well, let's just look at the Mets game real quick. They lose 8-2. Oh boy, they lose 8-2. Walker gave up 4 earned runs. Oh man, their pitching fell apart. They just haven't been able. Yeah, they just go Pirates. So the Braves. Yeah, they're listed first. Sick. Okay, Braves tonight. Let's go through some of the stat lines here. Acuna goes 2 for 5. He's DHing right now, and he's going to for the foreseeable future to rest that knee. I love that. I do like the DH for that. I've talked in the past about how I do miss kind of the managerial chess match that happens when there's not a DH, because it is cool to see like how managers work around like knowing when the pitcher's coming up in the lineup, how's the pitcher performing. If we can get through him, then we get to the top of the order, and when to pinch hit, when to not pinch hit. Like it did add a different element to the game that was exciting. But moments like this, I'm happy for the DH. I mean, yeah, you get more offense, you get to see your stars out there more. It's great, but you get to skip that one kind of dud in the lineup. But Acuna DHing right now, I think is brilliant. I mean, yeah, he's got a sore knee, hadn't been right all year. So yeah, let's keep his bat in the lineup, keep his legs on base. And it's just, he's still running really fast on the base path because that's what he does. But, it just statistically, you just lower the chances of something more happening, him tweaking something else when he's out in the outfield because you're having to run really fast, tracking down balls out there, save his arm, save his legs. Cool, I got it. So he goes 2 for 5. Dansby Swanson goes 2 for 5 as well. Austin Riley goes 1 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. Matt Olson, he actually only goes 1 for 4, but he did have a walk. But that home run that he hit was a 3-run jack, so 3 RBIs for Matt Olson. Duke continues to rake. I can't wait to see his stat line at the end of the year. I know his average, he's not like super high average guy. He is way different from Freddie in that regard. But, doubles, homers, RBIs, he's there with the best of them. His glove's great. I mean, I'm a big Matt Olson fan. Love it, especially him being a hometown guy. Freddie, when he went back to LA, and, I know it's emotional, and, I don't care. The whole, like, emotional Freddie thing, like, I don't know, like, it's, I mean, yeah, I was bummed to see him go because I kind of looked at him as, like, he's our chipper. He was that guy, and he had kind of established himself in this organization as being the face of our franchise, the face of the city, really, because he was the leader of the team that gave us our first championship in a long time. Him and Kirby, So, yeah, anyways, when he left, I get it, but, I was kind of over it, especially when he went to LA and he's like, I'm so good to be home. I've always wanted to be a Dodger. It's like, oh, crap. Okay, yeah, go be a Dodger then. Because Olson's a hometown guy, so pretty cool. Love Olson. Contreras goes 0 for 2 tonight, but he had 2 walks. He had some good at-bats, some lengthy at-bats. Vaughn Grissom, dude, seriously, goes 4 for 5. Yeah, 4 for 5, scored a run, had 2 RBIs. He just won't quit. He won't stop. It's great. Michael Harris goes 1 for 5. Michael Harris came maybe literally an inch away from having one of the best fielding highlights that we would have seen in a long time. So when it was getting dicey, because we won 10-9, so, the A's put up some runs, and they hit a 3-run jack right after they pulled Kyle Wright, and he hit it off of, maybe it was O'Day. I'll have to look at that. But this dude hits a 3-run home run to dead center, and God, he jumped and he tried to rob this home run, and he thought like he extended his arm over the wall, complete extension over the wall, runs back there, leaps up, tries to grab it, comes down, and I think he like thought that he had it. And then you could see the shock in his face. He pulls his hat off, or maybe it falls off, but he pulls it off, and he's like, oh my God, like you could tell he was so close. And when they showed the slow motion replay, it looked like it almost literally tipped his glove. But that would have been such an amazing catch by Harris. So just had to give him a shout out for the almost highlight, of the year. At one point, I think Chip Carey said, and I agree with him, that if he had made that catch, that kind of would have solidified him being the Rookie of the Year, because it was that athletic and just incredible looking, if he had gotten it, of course. But he goes 1 for 5 at the plate. Marcelo Zuna found his bat. He goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. One of those was a 2-out hit when we needed it, when it was, kind of still going back and forth. And, okay. Cool. Yeah, thanks, Marcel. Heredia, he didn't get out. He just came into field, I think, in the ninth. Grossman goes 0 for 3. Kyle Wright, like I said, 8 earned runs. Dylan Lee, that's who gave up the home run that Harris almost caught. And then Jesse Chavez comes in for an inning and then some, gives up 0 earned runs, has 2 strikeouts. I love that we have him back. I don't know what is wrong with the Angels organization, but you get a guy like Jesse Chavez, who we've seen all year just be really accurate and just efficient every time he comes out. Almost every time he comes out, barring a couple times. But how do you get a guy like that and then waive him like weeks after you acquire him? So the Braves trade for Iglesias, give up 2 guys to the Angels for it. Maybe it was Tucker and Chavez, I believe. And then they waive Chavez, and the Braves just pick him back up. It's great. And he hasn't skipped a beat. He looked fantastic tonight, and he really came in, and he stopped the bleeding for us. So, Kyle Wright was in big trouble. He just could not locate. It was bad. A bad outing from Kyle Wright. Even the fact that he went 4 innings technically was impressive, considering how just bad he looked. He kind of squeaked his way through, and I think when he had given up 5 runs when he came out, but then when Dylan Lee gave up some runs, some of those earned runs were credited to Kyle Wright because he left those guys on base. So anyways, by the time Jesse Chavez came in, we really needed him to lock it in, and he did just that. He no earned runs, stopped the bleeding, changed the momentum completely for us. Iglesias gave up a run. Excuse me, shortly after that, after they pull Chavez, but then, the rest of the guys from Chavez on, A.J. Minter and Kenley Jansen and Raziel Iglesias, only 1 earned run. I'm sorry, no earned runs. I was looking at hits, my bad. So no hits given up by anybody post Jesse Chavez coming in, except for Iglesias gave up 1 hit. So no earned runs after Chavez comes in. So really, that was a huge deal. He came in, it was like the 5th inning when he came in, and then we just coasted the rest of the way, because at that point, I think we were still up by 1. Although, no, that's not true. Someone, maybe it was Austin Riley, got an RBI at the end. I'm a little all over the place. Like I said, I'm a little tired. But moving on, A.J. Minter comes in. He does great. 2 strikeouts. Kenley Jansen gives us the save. He closes us out. 2 strikeouts in the 9th. Fantastic. So good job, Braves, for being able to keep your cool. You do what the Mets cannot, which is, play championship baseball. You know what I mean? Come on. Things get a little dicey. They lock it in, they settle, and they close it out. They go. Coffee's for closers, Coffee's for closers. Coffee for the Braves. Good job, guys. So, anything else from this game? I don't think so. Like I said, going to be a little more lax episode. Going to move on to some news around the league. Jacob deGrom is going to be a free agent next year. And he says he's going to test the market. So he didn't even come out and say, I want to be a Met. I mean, maybe he did. I didn't read too much into all of his comments on it. But he has said that, yeah, he's going to test the market. He wants to become the first $50 million player. Whoo! Meaning 50 on average per year in a new deal. He's 34 years old, but in my opinion, he's the best pitcher in all of baseball. And he plays for the Mets, so yeah, I'm sure he does want to test the market. He wants to get out of there. I don't know if that's exactly where he's at, but I mean, you got to think. I have heard one of the tweets that I saved. I'll go ahead and jump to that segment here. Frank Fleming, gotta love Frank. He works for Barstool Sports, and he tweeted, if the Mets lose DeGrom, Diaz, and Bassett, Walcott will be back to 2017 mess. Or if the Mets, okay, yeah, I'm reading this wrong. If the Mets let DeGrom, Diaz, and Bassett walk, it'll be back to the 2017 mess with no hope, and you know who is still running things. Everyone says DeGrom is going to the Braves, which will be catastrophic. Oh man, that would be so awesome. Oh God, if we get DeGrom, that'd be sick. That'd be so sick. The Braves don't really seem to spend that kind of money on guys, I mean, they don't really play that whole contract hostage negotiation game. Ask Freddie Freeman. So I don't really anticipate that, just because it doesn't really seem to be in the Braves' nature to bring on free agents like that. I could see him going to the Dodgers, or New York or San Diego. I could be wrong. I'll take DeGrom. DeGrom's legit. I think he's the best pitcher in baseball. But yeah, he's going to be a free agent next year, and I'm sure Mets fans are shaken at the thought of him leaving. So CBS predicts that the Falcons will go 4-13 in the upcoming season and come in last place in the NFC South. I don't know, maybe. I think everybody's kind of thinking that. Everybody's counting the Falcons out. I'm not. I'm really not. I never do, I mean, what am I going to do? Go into the season, say we're going to suck? I mean, some people do. I know a lot of my peers do, and I get it. I understand why. Because we have sucked. We've slowly been on the decline since the Super Bowl. It's true. That's the fact. That's what's happened. But I don't know. I just like what I'm seeing out of this coaching staff, out of this organization. I like how they've been acquiring depth. I like how they've drafted. I like the ways of thinking that they seem to possess. Arthur Smith just has got a swagger to him that I'm just all here for. I just, you get kind of an idea when you hear people talk, and it just kind of, what's a good example of this? When I hear Jimbo Fisher talk, I kind of roll my eyes a little bit. I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't know. Brian Kelly, here's a good example. That's recent. He had a fantastic moment in a press conference that I'm going to get to here in a second. But, you hear some coaches talk and you just kind of wonder, what type of personality is trickling to the rest of the team through you. And a lot of these guys, Jimbo Fisher, Brian Kelly, very successful coaches. They're very, very good. I get it. So maybe that's a bad example. But you've seen it in coaches before where you see them get kind of spun up. Maybe they don't handle questions very well. Maybe they just, I don't know, well, here's a better example, probably Dan Quinn. I didn't really have a whole lot of confidence in him the last couple of years, even though we had some, on paper, decent seasons post-Super Bowl, at least the year right afterwards. But the way that he just kind of carried himself and sounded, it just kind of he just started kind of going, oh, really, man, are you forcing it? Are you forcing excitement? Are you forcing this hunger? I'm just spitballing here. I have no idea what I'm saying, other than I do know that Arthur Smith portrays a lot of confidence. He does not take any shit, not in press conferences. He will make things awkward in a press conference, very awkward. He's done it a lot recently. I dare any journalist to ask him about, if there's a quarterback controversy. It's happened. Just go back and look at some of his press conferences in the last week, in the last few days. I was watching one. I can't even remember what day. Maybe it was Monday night. But, yeah, I think it was Monday night. But someone had asked him. I mean, and they didn't even get to the end of the question yet. He just someone said, "How long do you think would you want to see Desmond Ritter in game action before?" And he just went, "That's an asinine question. I know where you're going with this. Stop it. You're gonna think of all this fairy tale fantasy football stuff. You got to stop. Literally fantasy football, like not the game. Fantasy land is what this guy was living in, according to Arthur Smith, and it was hilarious. And it got awkward. He was like, "No, no, no, I'm not trying to." And Arthur Smith just went like, "No, stop it, dude. Shut up. Done. You're done. We're not doing this. This ends. Done. Next. Next. Oh, you still want to go? Nope. Sorry. Next." And he just kind of has that thing. And maybe some people think that he's a dick, but I think he's great. It's a complete personality change from what we had gotten used to with a more kind of flowery personality, I think, in Dan Quinn. So, why am I saying all this? The Falcons, are they going to go 4-13? Maybe. They might. I don't know. But I don't think so. The only thing that really concerns me, I mean, yeah, quarterback, question marks, receivers, and the offensive line. Those are the two things that concern me the most. And, that's not news. That's what everyone's thinking. So we'll see what they do. I got season tickets. I'll be there. I cannot wait. I'm going to do a whole Falcons hype show on Friday, along with the Bulldogs, although the Bulldogs are not playing quite as notable of an opponent this upcoming week. But, the Falcons, they're kicking off the season, and we got the Saints. Ooh, the Saints. I cannot wait to be there for that. So I hope that Falcons Nation is there representing. I know I will be. So I don't know. I said pretty confidently in an episode before this that Falcons are going 10-7. I'm going to stick with that. We'll go 10-7. Why not? You know what? Shoot for the moon, and you'll land amongst the stars. 10-7 is not even really the moon, but that's what I'm saying. 10-7. That's what they're going to do. So let's go. Let's go Falcons. Rise up, baby. Stetson Bennett is getting some attention as a legit draft prospect and not just a feel-good story. So there's an article from SI.com, and it's just them kind of talking about how these NFL scouts and analysts are really starting to look at Stetson Bennett seriously. This guy, Jim Nagy, it's time for college football. Quarterback Stetson Bennett starts getting respect as a legit pro prospect and not just the underdog story or good college QB. Stetson led 7 straight touchdown drives versus Oregon with plenty of next level transferable skills. They were referencing his 27-yard pass to A.D. Mitchell on the sideline right before he got smoked by an Oregon linebacker. And as soon as he gets smoked, and they actually called a penalty for roughing the passer on that play, they said it was close to targeting, but he got hit really hard. But he kept his composure, and he threw a dart to the sideline and completed a 27-yard pass, accurate, strong throw. And even after he got smoked, before he even hit the ground, he was like contorting his body in order to see where the pass was going. So it's just like the dude's legit. And, look, he goes against a number 11 ranked Oregon Duck team. Say what you will about Oregon. Was that ranking generous? I guess we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. If they crush it against everyone else, then no, it wasn't. But if they, fall apart and have a losing record, then yeah, sure, they were overrated. But, regardless, against a team that's not a Kent State, you know what I mean? It's not a DeQuesne. Against the Oregon Ducks, Stetson Bennett goes 25 for 31 with 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks, and was just efficient and automatic that entire game. A couple, maybe half of his incompletions were throwaways. Where he scrambled outside, nothing was there, he tossed it away, and it was very just clean, just okay, on to the next, and they just one after another, just absolutely pummeled Oregon. So yeah, Stetson Bennett, and it's only one game, I get it, it's like, really, we're going to start talking about him being the number 1 overall pick? No, it's not what I'm saying. It's just, I think anybody who watched him, especially coming into this year, us all thinking, okay, we know the story, it's pulling on all of our heartstrings. It's great. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great feeling just thinking about Stetson Bennett. But when he got announced that he was returning and he's going to be the guy, I know that a lot of dog fans out there kind of had some eye roll moments to go, oh, crap, you saying we can't just end it on this feel-good story and then go to, Brock Vandergrift or Carson Beck or whoever else we've, Gunnar Stockton, you know what I mean? But no, he came back and he for all that talk about Stetson Bennett, I don't think anybody can look at that game and think to themselves that he's not a legit quarterback. He had the third best QBR last season behind CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. It's an all college football. So the guy can play, and he showed up last Saturday. So good for you, man. I love that he's getting that hype, even if it's early, it's predetermined, whatever. I don't care. It's out there. The hype is there, whether I talk about it or not. So I'm going to talk about it. Okay, on to some tweets. Here's some tweets that I've saved for you guys, some notable things around the league that I found interesting and fun. This is from Grant McCulley. He's got some awesome things that he posts. He's I believe he's a beat writer for someone, but he's legit. He mentions Spencer Strider's strikeout rate through 115 innings pitched. So I'm going to go back up through some of these other guys. Then I think you've heard of some of these guys. So in 2001, Randy Johnson, through 115 innings pitched, had 171 strikeouts. In 1965, Sandy Koufax, heard of him? Through 115 innings pitched. In 1965, he had 131 strikeouts. 1973, Nolan Ryan, through 115 innings pitched, had a 130 strikeouts. And Spencer Strider, through 114 innings pitched, has had 174 strikeouts. So through that same time period or length of time, he's had more strikeouts this year than any of those guys in those seasons. That's fantastic. That's awesome. He's pitching, I believe, in Wednesday night's game in Oakland. So we're going to see Spencer Strider again. So this was circulating all over Twitter and TikTok or wherever you're getting your news from. But the Baxter Street Boys, that's a good follow. They had posted this video that someone had taken of UCLA Stadium, and their comment was, "Congrats to the new shiny toy for the Big Ten." And this video, when I first saw this video, I thought that it was somebody just getting there like before the game, taking this video showing how pretty UCLA Stadium is, because it is very beautiful. There's mountains in the background. It's like this really cool, just kind of classic oval stadium. And it's like, oh, cool, somebody's just, maybe hiking there before the game, just taking it all in, getting ready for game day, going, oh man, look at this cool stadium. No, this was in the middle of the game, and there was literally like, I don't know, I was about to say 5 people. There's more than 5 people, but there might be, I'm looking at this, 100 people? $150 on that side of the stadium? If that, I don't know. There's no one at this UCLA game. It's embarrassing. That's horrible. And UCLA, look, I get it. They're not, they're not like other teams, you know what I mean? Especially in the SEC where football is king. But, UCLA is not like a no-name school. They've had a lot of great players. They've had some good teams. Even recently, relatively, in the last, let's say in the last 20 years, they've had some teams that were good, that won a lot of games. There's been a lot of talent to come out of UCLA in the past. So to see this empty of a stadium on a game day, it's like, oh, man, that is a bad look. Okay, moving on to Brian Kelly. This was really funny. So, okay. This was a tweet from Barstool Sportsbook, but this was circulating kind of like the UCLA thing. This was everywhere, but Brian Kelly, so to give you some backstory, LSU loses on a blocked extra point at the end of the game. They score with like no time left. They score a touchdown to get them within 1 point, and they go out to kick the extra point to tie it up and to, presumably go into overtime at that point. And, a lot of people are saying this was against Florida State, but people were saying LSU is a much more talented team. It's terrible that it was even in this position. It's Brian Kelly's first year. He's meant to turn the program around. So there's this whole narrative. And at his post-game press conference, Brian Kelly starts roasting all these reporters for getting there late. He's going, oh, wow, so glad you decided to join us. If I had $10 for everyone who's late, then we'll throw a big party. You can all come over to my house. You'll fund it because you guys are going to be so late all the time. And he's just, being kind of a dad about it, just giving all these backhanded, kind of comments. And one of the reporters says, well, maybe if you win, I'll be on time. And so um, that was awesome. Some female reporter, I think, just went, well, maybe if you win, we'll show. And then Brian Kelly goes, well, it's not about winning, it's about being on time. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess credit to Brian Kelly. He didn't seem too flustered by it, but he just kind of moved on. But that was hilarious. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're going to go in that hard on everybody for being late, hey, someone might fire back at you. So good for her, I guess. I mean, that was hilarious. Um, so, oh my God, here's a stat for you guys. This is from Stats by Stats, at Stats by Stats. The Mets, here we go. Come on, our favorite team. The Mets are the first team in MLB history to have 3 straight games where they lost by 6 or more runs to a team with 30 or more less wins than them. So let me say that again. The Mets are the first team in MLB history to have 3 straight games where they lose by 6 or more runs to a team with 30 or fewer wins than them in the season. So the teams they're losing, it's not just that they blew the lead. It's not just that they have let the Braves get back in this race. That's not it. It's who they're losing to and how much they're losing to them by. So first team ever in MLB history to do that. That should have been my trivia question. What team has ever done, whatever. You just heard the stat. But yeah, that's a pretty good, statistic there. So thank you, Stats by Stats, for reporting that, because especially, too, I mean, it's the Mets. You got to save those kind of things. Last tweet I have here is from Grant McCulley again. He just echoed what I said earlier. He thought that Michael Harris had it for a split second. He catches that, and maybe he's the Rookie of the Year right then and there. So, yeah, him, Chip Carey, they were all saying it, and it's legit. I mean, Michael Harris came within an inch of making one of the most spectacular home run robs that I've ever seen. And God, I wish he had gotten that. It looked awesome. And there's no way it's not. I mean, I guess it's probably is on highlight reels because it was a home run. So if you just look at like the Braves recap or even like the Braves Instagram story, or they do stories, just do this. Just Google Braves. First thing that comes up where it says the score, click on that, and then there'll be a game story. And so if you do that, it'll probably go through the Oakland home run, and you'll see how close he really was to robbing that. It was unbelievable. God, I wish he had gotten that. So, a couple things to end the show on here. I have DirecTV and Hulu now. I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's that time of year where I'm a red zone guy. Some people are Sunday ticket guys, and I think that I probably could have gotten a Sunday ticket. I think that's a DirecTV thing. I've had it before, but once I tried Red Zone, I just couldn't go back. Meth, not even once. You do it once, the stimulation that you receive from 8 hours of commercial-free, uninterrupted football that's only showing like the highlights, or not just the highlights, but like the red zone action, like when a team's in scoring position and they're just going through that the whole time. And then when you see something exciting and then it goes to half, you go, oh crap, I have to wait till half. Oh, nope, there's another team that's coming right back from halftime or going into halftime. So it's just, you're never interrupted, ever. Excuse me, big red zone plug there, but we get Hulu because I want red zone. And we keep DirecTV because that's the only way to get Bally Sports South. It sucks. It's, at least if you're streaming. I hate that they did that. I do hate that like Bally Sports is only available through because I had YouTube TV at one point and then Hulu at one point, and then but none of them get Bally Sports. It's very specific to DirecTV. I think it's an AT&T thing. That sucked. That's the one, Braves organization, you guys are fantastic. I talk about how great you guys are all the time. Fix that, because that sucks. Because now, I'm paying for 2 streaming services because I have to have both, because that's just what we do. So anyways, next month I'll have both, and just thought that I would share that with you. So thanks for letting me share. To end the show, the trivia answer, if you remember what the trivia question was, it was, what was the original name for the New York Jets? The New York Jets. They were not always the Jets. Before that, they were the New York Titans. The Titans of New York. It's back, I want to say, in the 60s. They used to play at the Polo Grounds. Baseball was played there too. Also, the New York Titans played there. I don't know the exact year that they switched, but I think that organization had kind of gone down to the tubes pretty bad. And then they became the Jets. Somehow out of that came the Jets. So there you go. If you didn't know that, there's a good chance you didn't. I'd be shocked if you did, unless you were a Jets fan. So yeah, something to keep in your back pocket. So to end the show, I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful Wednesday. It is Wednesday, September 7th, and we're just a few days away from football, really just one day away from NFL football, because Thursday night we got a matchup from the Bills and the Rams. Cannot wait to watch that game. And go make someone's day today, you guys. It's hump day. You're right in the thick of it. You're right in the middle of the week. However, it's a shortened week because of Labor Day, so you have that to be grateful for. But, as soon as you end today, you are then officially on the countdown until the weekend and until football and to more Braves dominance and to all the good things that we love in this Georgia and Atlanta sporting world. So go Dogs, go Falcons, go Braves, and go you. Thanks for listening. Love you. See you next time.